Ain't nobody up here to help you land this airplane. You've got to land this airplane. One of my funniest stories is early on in flight training. It's like the first or second lesson, and we flying out of controlled airspace. We listen to ATIS, the instructor, he listens to it, and he says, okay, he said, I want you to call the tower and, tell them who we are, where we are, what we're going to do, and tell them with Mike. So, I'm nervous. It's like I said, first or second flight, and I called Georgetown ground and tell them, everything and so they give me taxi instructions and we go take off. So anyway, we fly out east and we're doing maneuvers and everything, and I just can't get it out of my mind, when are we going to pick up Mike? Where is Mike at in this deal? And so the whole time, my whole lesson is concentrating on that. So when we're coming back into controlled airspace, we get the latest ATIS, and then when they gave it to me, it clicked. I'm like, oh, okay. So then that finally clicked. I felt like such a dummy, but anyway, I just thought it was funny. A little bit later, I ended up buying my own airplane, which was a Cessna 170, and so we had to have 10 hours in make and model, so I went and flew with an instructor that had one so I could buy mine and get the insurance. And he flew it to Temple for me and landed it on a grass strip where I had a hangar. And I needed to take it over to another airport and get some work done on it. And I called him. I said, Monty, I said, am I safe flying? He said, oh, you're great. He said, you've done great. So anyway, I take off and fly over to Temple and coming in on final, and everything's going real good. And I'm still trying to learn that tail draggers, you got to be dancing on those pedals. Well, I wasn't. I was doing a slow dance that day. And I started off the edge of the runway. And, of course, I knew at that point, just add power and let's go around. So we go around. So I get up in the pattern, and that's when I start talking to myself. I said, Daryl, ain't nobody up here to help you land this airplane. You've got to land this airplane. So I talked myself back down and done a perfect three-point. And then my latest story was right before the Christmas freeze of 2022. Me and my brother have a place out in West Texas in the mountainous region north of Del Rio, and if you've never flown in the mountains, it's the thermals are different. It can be quite rough. So anyway, I done a low pass to check, make sure there wasn't any deer or anything on the runway, and so I come around and my neighbor had told me, he said, watch landing on that runway. He said, because of the way the wind circulates off the top of that hill, he said you can lose lift. So I come in with plenty of speed and hand on throttle and got it on the ground. But no more than I get on the ground, here come all the cows out of the woodwork. So there's a pole barn type hangar there with a fence around it. So they're all walking up there, and if anybody knows cows, they want to rub on everything. So I hurry up and I had to cut the airplane off, open the gate, cut the airplane, crank the airplane, pull it in there, and so anyway, the whole time I'm thinking, now how am I going to take off with these cows? And so I had to walk to where our place is about a mile, and I was going to drive my vehicle back, and I thought, nope, if I drive that pickup up there, them cows are going to hear it, and here they're going to come again. So I walk back up there, and I'm looking and don't see them, and I'm looking at the windsock, and I'm picking up dead grass, and because at this point I'm thinking if I have to taxi to the other end, the cows are going to be back on the runway, and I'm gonna be in a bad way. So I had just the slightest tailwind. I was like, nope, I can do it. And so I pushed it out, cranked it up. I still had a little engine heat from the trip down there. Didn't have to let it warm up much, and took off. And then, of course, I hit the mountain thermals again, and I climbed and climbed as fast as I could. And if anybody had never flown in an old 170A model, the heater in it is about like burning a match inside. It's nearly not even there. So to get out of the thermals, I had to get up to 7,500 feet. Well, then I like to froze up there. But so anyway, made it back uneventful, and just a good story to tell.